Chelsea.
When I left my high school last year to finish my high school here at Clover Park Technical College, the most exciting part was that I didn't have to do my senior portfolio. I never in my life thought I would do another portfolio ever. And then I registered for this class. And not only was this like the most difficult project I've ever done in class, considering all the organization I had to do and I'm not organized, I thought it was the most worth it. Like, it meant a lot to me. I'm really proud of it now. I put work into it. I'm really proud of it. And I'm going to go over all my speeches and all my extra stuff, like my learning experiences and my thoughts of the week and my speech critiques and all that fun stuff. So, my first speech number 1, you got to talk about a significant individual. My significant individual is in this room, Dad. I talked about my father, Johnny Jensen. I figured it would be the easiest to talk about my dad because me and him are like pretty much the exact same person, except for he's like old and bald. So if I was older and didn't have as much hair, it would have been just like talking about myself. I had a lot of fun in this speech. I didn't do as well as I could have. I was really shy and nervous, and I wish I would have made it more fun, but I kind of was really serious. I'm like, my dad is a good person, blah, blah, blah. And I wish I could have gave it a better essence of my dad. Speech number 2, demonstration speech. That was the most fun for me, because everybody is good at something in this world, and at first I was like, this isn't fair. I'm not good at anything. What am I going to demonstrate? And then I figured it out. I've been helping people break up with people my whole life. So I thought I would demonstrate how to break up with somebody. And if anybody wants to see it, it's on YouTube. So you can check that out. And I said a lot, like I always say in real life and outside of this class, Ricky. So I could have fixed that. I watched it and it wasn't as great as I don't know. I was up here, I thought I was ingenious, but then I watched it and it was kind of weird. So that was fun. Speech 3 was the past speech, the past speeches speech. I didn't really look at any past speeches except for one when I did this speech, the Sojourner Truth Ain't I a Woman speech. So I did my whole entire speech on Sojourner Truth. This is a picture of her. I call her Soji for short because that's easier for me. That speech, I had my record of 15 ums. I was not proud of myself, but yeah. I said a 27-cent word. If anybody remembers what that is, that means that it's good, not bad. So that made me feel really good about myself for a minute. Speech number 4 was the why you should hire me speech. And that sucked. That speech is a great speech for people that are good at things and like have job experience. But when you don't have either of those, you have to really stretch to find some information on the speech. Because I lied through the whole thing. I'm going to be quite frank with you guys. My speech was a lie. Hopefully one day I will have job experience and can do well. I don't want to show my rubric. That sucks. Speech 5 was the past speeches speech. We talked about that when I went to Antonio Edwards and Deborah Jenkins' speech, and when I went to church as well. And we talked about that. I thought that was the most fun because that was a big learning experience for me. I learned about diversity and I learned about a lot of other people besides Martin Luther King, and I learned about church. I don't think I've ever been to church before in my life, and so that was more of like not even an experience for this class. That was an experience for my life. I learned more things for myself. I said another 14 times. Hey, that doesn't count. And I did pretty well on this speech, I think. I just kind of winged it like I always do. I was fun. I had fun for that one. And then speech number 6. That was the best speech ever. My partner, Nicole, I love her now. And I totally understand, not that I didn't before, but I love her. I totally understand getting picked, like, having the partner that's like 16 in the class. Of course, you would think, wow, I got stuck with the kid. She's going to be an idiot. And so I understand like where you're coming from on that, and I'm glad that I think we did really well. I wanted to come through for you, Nicole. So I had fun with Speech 6. We interviewed a girl named Ilea. She was so interesting in every way, and I feel like me and her are going to be best friends now. So that was cool. I got my first A in this one. I was really proud of myself. Thanks, Dr. Phil. That was fun. And here's a picture of Ilea and the mythical creature that she created herself. Yeah. That was fun times. And then Speech 7, which is what we're doing today, which, by the way, is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Yeah, that's lots of fun. So now I want to go over a couple of my other things, like my extras, we'll call them that. A couple of thoughts of the week with pretty paper. Yeah. My thoughts of the week are really not very important. None of them are really extraordinary. Just the only one I would say that was like really exciting was week 6. My best thought was, you can't lie on your resume. How am I supposed to sound eligible for a job then? That was really it. And my reading log, I had a lot of fun on my reading log because I read a lot of like really interesting things. My favorite thing that I read though was in week 8, I read something and it was a quote and it said, "When dealing with people, remember you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion, creatures bristling with prejudice and motivated by pride and vanity." So it made me think, like, if somebody's being like weird or mean to me, it's not their fault. It's not that they're stupid, they're just really emotional. So that's what I got from that. And also another one that I really liked by the Dalai Lama, a quote by him, is, "This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness." That made me feel better because it makes me think that I should be a lot nicer to people than I am. I felt like that makes me a better person. My learning experience, I learned a lot in this class. I learned that there's a lot of research that goes into a speech. I really never in my life would have expected that you actually need to do stuff for a speech, ever. I just thought that you'd go up there, if you knew what you were talking about, you'd talk about it. But no, that's not the case. You have to interview people and read books and such. And that it helped me a lot, I guess. I think the only thing that I wish I would have learned in this class was, for some reason, I had it in my head that public speaking was like you would learn to talk to people, like one-on-one. So now I can talk to like crowds of people, but I still don't know how to talk to people one-on-one yet. So I guess that's a life thing. I'll figure it out one day. My reaction speeches, the first speech that I ever watched of myself was speech number 2, the demonstration speech. And I don't even know, I was so upset with that speech. For some reason I was up here and I thought it was fine, and I watched it and I sucked. I was like saying every 5 seconds and like trembling, and I don't know. I don't know. It was just, I hated it. And so after that I waited a really long time to watch all the rest of my speeches. And the humor is the last thing I'm going to talk about. My humor. The only thing that, because I'm not a funny person, and the only thing that I thought about that was funny was I was doing my portfolio and I was like, oh, I have to write something that's funny. I was like, Dad, what do I write that's funny? I'm not funny. What am I going to say? And he was like, Chelsea, just put a picture of your face on there. That's funny enough. So that's my humor. So now that we've had this little blast from the past about all my speeches and all this extra stuff that I learned, I just want to say that I have learned so much in this class. I learned what yeasty means, which helped me because I use that in real life now all the time. Thank you, Dr. Phil. I learned about some guy's dog, Mike something. I learned that there is nitrogen in the air. That I never knew that. That was a good one. Thanks again, Dr. Phil. The biggest thing I learned, though, is that you do not have to be perfect, but you do get a better grade if you are.